Before we open our lips to pray, I invite you to quiet your soul for a moment. In the midst of haste, worries, and noise, how often do we forget to listen to God's voice? Prayer is not just speaking. It is, above all, listening. Listening to the one who knows our path better than we do. Many times we approach the Lord with a list of requests, and that's okay. He is our Father, and the Word itself says He delights in giving good gifts to His children. So with faith, we ask Him to heal, open doors, transform situations, perform miracles, guide us, and provide. But today, I invite you to ask for something even more valuable than any material blessing. Something that money cannot buy, success cannot secure, and that remains even when everything around us changes. Wisdom. Wisdom is not just intelligence or logic. It is seeing life from heaven's perspective. It is discernment shaped by humility. It is making decisions not just because they seem right to human eyes, but because they please God's heart. If you desire this wisdom in your life, write in the comments, "I want to see with God's eyes." In the Bible, wisdom is not treated as a luxury, it is a necessity. Proverbs 4:7 firmly declares, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all your getting, get understanding." This shows us that no achievement, no matter how valuable it seems, should come before wisdom. You can have status, applause, wealth, followers, or influence. But without wisdom, all of it can turn to sinking sand. Wisdom is the invisible foundation that sustains victories. It protects your soul from silent traps, illuminates dark paths, and reveals dangers hidden behind attractive promises. It anchors you when everything feels unstable. It warns you before the fall. It calls you back when you're about to step off purpose. But the beauty is that God doesn't require a spiritual resume to give it. You don't have to be holier or walk for years. James 1:5 gives us an unmatched promise. "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him." God doesn't humiliate those who are lost. He lovingly guides us. If you believe God can give you wisdom today, comment, "I receive it." Imagine receiving a wisdom that not only solves problems, but transforms the way you live, feel, and react. A wisdom that teaches you when to be still, to respond with gentleness instead of anger, to choose the narrow road when the world offers shortcuts. That kind of wisdom doesn't come from degrees, books, or experience. It comes from above. It is heavenly, pure, and deeply practical. And most incredibly, it blesses not only you, but everyone around you. When you live with discernment, your children grow in emotional safety, learning from your example. Your friends find refuge in your advice. Your community feels the impact of your maturity. But note, this wisdom isn't automatic. It must be pursued. It begins when you sincerely ask, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" When you let go of empty opinions to hear God's voice. When you read the Bible with a thirst to be changed, not just informed. Every wise decision bears lasting fruit. Every balanced word heals. Every step in truth opens doors no man can shut. If you want to be a source of wisdom wherever you go, comment, "Let my life be light." When you ask God for wisdom, you're asking for more than answers. You're asking for vision. You're asking to see beyond the obvious, beyond the immediate, beyond appearances. You're asking to see as heaven sees, to discern what the world overlooks. Wisdom isn't just about knowing what to do. It's knowing when to wait, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to advance and when to hold back. It's knowing that silence is often wiser than 1,000 arguments. And in His grace, God not only hears this request, He rejoices in answering it. He doesn't mock the confused. He doesn't reject the one who stumbles trying to do right. He doesn't require perfection, but generously gives what the world cannot: clarity in the midst of chaos. That clarity flows from His word. The Bible is not just a sacred book. It is living wisdom.
Every verse is a beacon pointing to righteous decisions, just actions, and a life that honors the Lord. In Scripture, you find guidance, strength, comfort, and courage to walk in truth even in dark times. If you want to see through the eyes of faith, comment, "Open my eyes, Lord."
Proverbs 11 gives us practical treasures of wisdom. Verse by verse, we see God's heart revealed in timeless counsel. Verse 1 says, "Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." This reminds us that God values integrity, even in the smallest choices. He sees beyond what we show. He weighs our intentions, not just our actions. When we act justly in secret, we reflect his nature. In work, home, business, or friendships, honesty pleases God. Verse 2 continues, "When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom." Pride blinds us. It makes us rely too much on ourselves and ignore advice. But humility opens doors. The humble learn, grow, and mature. That's why wisdom lives in those who admit they don't know everything. And in verse 4 we read, "Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death." We're taught to chase financial security and visible success, but all of it is fragile before eternity. Real safety lies in a heart aligned with God, not in bank accounts. If you choose integrity and humility today, comment, "I prefer God's justice." Proverbs 11:8 says, "The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead." This is more than a promise of rescue. It reveals God's faithfulness. He cares for his own. Even when there seems to be no way, he can reverse situations and open paths where there were only walls. Wisdom protects us. When we walk in discernment, we avoid invisible traps, bad influences, hasty decisions. The righteous do face trials, but they face them with spiritual covering that guards, strengthens, and sustains them to the end. Wisdom also shapes our relationships, how we treat people, respond to conflict, and handle criticism. All of it is molded by a heart that wants to honor God above all. And this kind of behavior makes a real difference. The choices we make under divine guidance affect not only our present but also the future of those around us. A wise father raises secure children. A wise wife builds her home. A wise leader guides with justice. Wisdom is a heritage that spreads like light. If you want your life to be a source of protection and direction, write, "Lord, guide me with your wisdom." Wisdom doesn't just happen to those who've lived long or read much. It's the fruit of a heart that intentionally seeks. Whoever kneels to ask, "God, what do you want from me today?" has already taken the first step. Wisdom is cultivated when we prioritize God's voice over our emotions. How many wrong decisions come from pride, haste, or fear? And how many pains could be avoided if we stopped, breathed, and prayed before acting? Seeking wisdom is more than being informed. It's the desire to be transformed. It's not about memorizing verses, but living them. The Bible is not just a rule book. It's a living letter from a Father who loves us deeply, and the impact of wisdom doesn't stop with you. It overflows. Children grow more secure under balanced parents. Friendships become shelter when there is wise counsel. Churches flourish when members walk with discernment. Wisdom builds, calms, and directs. You become a reference of peace in chaos, an anchor in storms, a light in dark streets. If you want to live with purpose and peace, comment, "I want to be light in the chaos." Maybe today your heart is full of requests, and that's okay. God is a loving Father who cares about every detail, your health, your family, your work, your dreams. But in the midst of so many cries for change, healing, and open doors, have you also asked for wisdom? Wisdom filters desires into prayers aligned with heaven. It reveals whether what you want is really what you need. It teaches you to wait with faith, act with balance, and believe with depth. When you ask for wisdom, you're saying, Lord, I don't just want answers, I want your heart. And that changes everything, because wisdom leads you to make choices that not only work but glorify God. Wisdom protects you from the anxiety that makes you rush. It frees you from blindness caused by haste. It helps you discern between what is urgent and what is eternal. And above all, it transforms you into someone more like Christ, with gentleness, courage, love, and truth. Don't wait to hit rock bottom to seek wisdom. Make it your daily companion, your first step, your final word. If today you're asking for more than answers, comment, Lord, give me your heart. God's wisdom isn't limited to big moments. It reveals itself in the details. It's in how you respond to offense. In the silence you choose in a heated moment. In the patience of listening before reacting. Wisdom is recognizing that every small choice is shaping who you're becoming. The world may value fast results, but God cares about deep roots. He wants you to grow with strength, not speed. Psalms tells us the righteous is like a tree planted by waters, bearing fruit in season. That right season is set by divine wisdom, not anxiety, not competition. And that wisdom helps you see through the lies the world repeats. You have to be the best. You must prove something. You're falling behind. But God says, walk with me, one step at a time. I will teach you. I will sustain you. When God's wisdom lives in you, even your silent days build something eternal. Even when no one sees, heaven is watching. If you choose to grow in God's timing, comment, plant me by your waters, Lord. Lord, today I surrender. I give you my thoughts, my decisions, my future. I no longer want to live by guesses or build a life on opinions. I want your discernment, your direction, your peace that surpasses understanding. Without your wisdom, I walk in circles. But with you, every step has purpose. Every choice has meaning. Every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes sacred when lived in your light. Your word reminds me that wisdom is more valuable than gold, more precious than jewels. So today, I choose not what dazzles the eyes, but what transforms the heart. Guide me, Father, even when I don't understand. Strengthen my mind against the world's pressure. Anchor my steps in your truth. May your wisdom be my compass in the chaos, my lamp in the dark, my refuge in the storm. Jesus, you are the Master. Teach me to live as you lived, with compassion, courage, humility, and faith. Let my life breathe wisdom, not the kind that impresses, but the kind that frees. And in all I do, may your name be glorified. Amen. If this prayer spoke to you, write in the comments, I choose to live with wisdom, and tag someone who needs this light.